Christian autism and God. You can ask why God makes people like different ways, learn differently, have different, ways of viewing Him and receiving His Spirit, His ways, His beliefs, whatever you want to call it. That, yes, sometimes I'll admit I feel trapped inside myself, like I'm trying to run outside of my body, outside of my mind, but at the same time, it's almost like you could say it's a gift and a curse at the same time because I want to run out of myself. But at the same time, most people can't go inside of themselves unless they're on drugs. You see, like, especially people in my hometown, they don't realize that it's a spiritual thing that's going on, which they're trying to go inside of themselves, and they can't do it without taking like a certain drug or something. But they don't even realize that. They don't even realize the spiritual matter of these things, basically. So they have to take these drugs and everything to go inside themselves. But if I was to take it, I can't, because I would see things, because things would start to manifest in front of me, like portals or different beings or something else that, you know, I can't do those things, but at the same time, God, I don't know. My view on, as a believer, my view on God is that, all things He is made for a reason, that He does keep giving me strength and hope every day, that, the only problem I would say with people with autism or on that spectrum is, I guess, in a way, like, it's certain, like, people will think you're in your head too much, but at the same time, you know, um, it's, I guess they think we don't live in the real world, but we do. It's just harder for us to sometimes, I guess it depends on, like, relating to others as well. I mean, yes, we can, but at the same time, the physical and spiritual touch base, but at the same time, especially even with people with autism and people who are believers with autism, that, I mean, without the autism, that, or even people in the world, that just regular people versus people with autism, believers and non-believers, that it's almost like we're in tune with more of our mental psyche and mental state, basically, that we feel so trapped inside of ourselves at sometimes that it could we're trying so hard, it's so hard for us to relate to you because you're more vocal and spoken verbally, while we're more spoken mentally. So it's just like a mental thing going on with us versus a verbal thing. And I don't know if you've ever heard the stories about people when they die and and they see heaven, that, like, people in heaven, they don't, like, they have mouths, but they don't ever verbally speak. They mentally speak. It's almost like what am I trying to think? Like, that word, telepathically. And, like, I just wonder, like, it would be easy for someone with autism, I believe, to speak more telepathically with someone mentally than it is verbally. Like me, I'm more of the spectrum, but I'm not all the way there. Someone with full-on autism can't verbally speak, but I'm sure mentally they are speaking. So I think that's the issue. The whole issue is just, like, we have a hard time relating to people who don't have the same problems as we do, because they're more verbal, but we're kind of like, we're so in tune with our mental psyche that, like, we're in tune with both, but it's just like, you're 100% verbal and maybe we're not, but we can learn to be. But at the same time, Why can't you? I don't know. It's just like they need to learn to pick up more on mental things, mental psyche things, and they don't. But maybe that's just the world we live in, the real world. It's not anything mental, it's just more of a verbal, physical thing. But once you die, you're going to realize that there's spiritual things, there's a spiritual matter at hand as well, that you never picked up on the creator because you were too busy trying to create the creator in your own image. But you never could contrast something more mentally of what is true rather than just something you're making up in your own head. That's idolatry. Interesting enough as it is. So God bless him and fire and ask Godspeed.